We live in a world that's pretty obsessed with popularity. We're kind of taught that having more friends means you're more successful, more happy. So if you're someone who prefers a smaller circle, it can leave you feeling, I don't know, a little off. Maybe even like you're antisocial or broken. And that leads to the big question, right? Is having only a few friends really a red flag? Is it something you should actually be worried about? But what if there's a totally different way to look at this? What if psychology tells us that choosing a smaller social world isn't a flaw at all, but actually a sign of a highly intelligent mind? Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by busting that popularity myth. Then we'll get into why some of us crave deeper connections and why socializing can be such an energy drain. We'll also talk about getting beyond small talk and being independent by design. And finally, we'll tie it all together to redefine what a real connection actually looks like. So first up, let's tackle this whole popularity myth head on. We're going to decode the real psychological patterns that explain why some of the sharpest minds out there often prefer to be alone. And this isn't just about being an introvert. It's about how your brain might actually be wired. So the first piece of this puzzle is having a really high standard for connection. It's not about pushing people away, it's about searching for something meaningful. It's truly a case of quality over quantity. And you can really see the difference here. A lot of people are totally fine with casual friends and surface-level chats, but if you have a more analytical mind, you're probably wired to want more. You're not just looking for someone to hang out with, you're looking for depth, for meaning, for conversations that actually go somewhere. Psychology actually has a name for this. It's called authentic connection orientation. It's basically an internal drive that makes you want to avoid those empty social interactions and instead seek out the ones that have a real substance, whether that's intellectual or emotional. And what that really boils down to is this. You'd much rather be on your own than pretend to enjoy a fake friendship or put up with personalities that just drain you. To you, your own peace is way better than pointless company. Okay, let's move on to our next point. Have you ever gone to a party for just an hour and left feeling like you just run a marathon? Well, that feeling is completely real, and it has everything to do with the social energy drain. This comes from something called high social sensitivity. It basically means your brain is working in overdrive during social situations. It's picking up on more cues, analyzing more data, and because of that, it's burning way more mental energy than the average person's. Let's just walk through what's happening here. It all starts with active observation. You're not just hearing words, you're analyzing tone, emotion, and the logic behind what's being said. Then your brain kicks into this incredible pattern recognition mode, catching tiny details that fly right past most people. All of this creates a huge cognitive load, which is exactly why that last step, recharging alone, isn't a luxury. It's an absolute necessity. And this just reframes the whole idea of solitude, doesn't it? Your need to be alone isn't some antisocial statement. It's a tool. It's how you protect your focus, maintain your mental clarity, and stop your inner world from being constantly derailed by outside noise. This leads us perfectly to the next point, the deep dislike for superficial conversations. I mean, for a deep thinker, small talk isn't just a little boring, it can feel physically exhausting. And that really is the heart of it. We're not just talking about a simple preference here. For many, it's a visceral, almost gut-level reaction against conversations that have no substance. It just feels like a complete waste of that precious mental energy we were just talking about. So why does small talk feel so bad? Well, think of your brain as having an intellectual hunger. It wants to chew on big ideas, complex systems, maybe a little psychology. But most conversations just stay in the shallow end. This creates what you could call a curiosity mismatch. And the result? You end up bored, feeling disconnected, and maybe even a little misunderstood. All right, next up, let's talk about what makes this kind of social selectivity even possible. And a lot of the time, it comes down to a really powerful trait, just being independent by design. The psychological idea here is called low social dependency, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's a trait where your sense of worth and happiness isn't all tangled up in how many friends you have or how much approval you get from others. You find plenty of stimulation inside your own head. And what powers this is a strong internal locus of evaluation. Big words, I know, but the idea is simple. You are your own judge. You measure your own success against your own internal scorecard, not by what other people think or how many likes you get online. So, while the outside world might misinterpret this independence as shyness or maybe even arrogance, psychology shows us it's actually the opposite. It is a profound sign of deep inner confidence and real cognitive strength. Okay, so let's pull all these threads together now and completely reframe what it means to have a small social circle. It's time to stop looking at it through society's lens and start seeing it for what it really is. Let me be crystal clear about this. Having few friends or even having no friends for a period of your life does not mean you're failing. It doesn't mean you're broken, and it definitely doesn't mean something is wrong with you. Actually, it's far more likely that this is a feature, not a bug. It probably just means your mind operates on a different frequency, one that values awareness, depth, and a much, much higher standard for what feels authentic and true. And when it comes down to it, the strongest minds often do walk alone for a while. Not because they're lost and not because they can't find a crowd to join, but because they are patiently, selectively waiting for something real. If any of this really hit home for you, well, you're in the right place. Go ahead and subscribe to keep decoding the complexities of the human mind with us. Thanks for watching.